When the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on, we're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
It's not true. It doesn't matter what's true. It matters the story they tell when you're gone.
I keep on pushing down my gypsy road.
All right, it's a Monday. The weekend is over.
Yeah, it is.
The beginning of the week. And look at this cool ass shirt that I'm wearing.
What do you? Oh shit!
Look at that
cool.
shirt. Isn't that the coolest shirt?
Actually, that is a cool shirt.
That is. I saw all these ugly shirts. Like there's like shirts out there called like Poop of Reality. All these ugly, stupid shirts with pills. I'm like, I'm putting my logo on a shirt.
With a pill. Take a pill.
Yeah.
Give it to the pharmaceutical companies.
Woo! I said, why not? Why not? Why not? Cool. We got Bigfoot, and then in the chat, I see it's just me in the chat, and I see Hobbs in the chat.
Connor, Hobbs, Sarah Connor.
So
Connor.
So we got some interesting stuff for today. Very cool. I don't know how much. I don't know if you ever heard of the mystery of Chaco Canyon up in New Mexico.
Yeah, everyone has. Well, in the community. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring it up because it's kind of interesting where, you got this place that was built by one of the first Indians race, and nobody knows why, really. I mean, nobody knows the place. Let me see if I have a picture.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have a picture for people.
Anastasi.
Because I'm sure not everybody has heard of it, especially if you live more on the East Coast. You can see here the mystery of Chaco Canyon.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, here, there we go. What's interesting about the thing is that the way it's built a certain way to follow when the sun goes above it. In 2 parts of the year, the sun's in a different direction going over it, but it's like right on line with the build of it. Like the Indians knew something when they build it. I'm not saying they build it for UFOs. I'm not saying all that, but there, New Mexico has one of the highest UFO sightings. I mean, you got the Roswell incident,
dry area,
Mexico, and the questions they're asking: if you're going to build this, you're building it in New Mexico, where that's harsh country, especially back then. What, and is it built for power? Is it built? What's the reason why it's even there?
Well, back then they had more vegetation than they had water. And also it was I learned some archaeology about the place. Also, it was a central, like a city, a trade center. It was a trade center from the South Americans coming all the way up. They actually have a trail that goes all the way up in there. And they did trade. They did trade with South America, corn, baskets, all kinds of stuff. It was a central trading place. But they don't know why they disappeared. It looks good. They don't know why they disappeared, though. They don't. They think it was the running thing was it's water. They ran out of water. They were in a drought, and with no water, there's nothing you can do. You have to leave. So that's one of the arguments. But they up and vanished. Whole fucking group.
Exactly, Bob.
They're gone.
They're gone. Oh yeah. if Connor is still in the chat, I made a new logo that I put on my T-Tree account. I thought of him, and I made a Bigfoot effect.
Nice.
The background is actually the state of Washington. That's the Washington Mountains.
That's beautiful.
Got a little extra color, that, so yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just off the hook. There's a cool if you have Amazon Prime, there's a cool documentary on the mystery with the mystery of it with Robert Redford doing the narrating.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good. Robert Redford's good. Yeah, they built those cliff dwellings up in the cliffs. It takes it takes a lot to get up in there. So they're wondering if there was a flood. Was it before? They don't know if that was built before, after. Was there a flood? Because you also have cave or structured dwellings on cliffs up inside of like the Grand Canyon. The same kind of thing. So a lot of flood theorists think that maybe that was because of the flood. They knew it was coming. They already prepared for it. They just prepared it a lot in advance and waiting for the flood to come. But then they disappeared.
Now, I'm not playing, conspiracy or nothing, but I'm just saying maybe, if the way they built it does line up with the sun, kind of like coordinates in a way.
Yeah.
What if it was built for UFOs?
Could be built for UFOs. Could be built for agriculture. Also, the corn maize needs lots of sun. I'm playing both sides.
Oh, I know. But but you think if you're going to do agriculture, right? I mean, I'm not the agriculture expert. I would think that you would do most of your agriculture closer to like California than in a harsh land like New Mexico.
Oh, they do it. They did it. They grew it in sand. Believe it or not, there's methods they could use. They used each individual plant, each individual corn stalk was in its own little ecosystem within the sand as a barrier, but within it, it's a soil. So they would dig a hole and it would have a soil. They'd actually put it like the old thing. They'd put it in a fish. They'd put a fish in there. They'd put something dead in there, like fish, feces, all kinds of nasties and little pile, and they'd grow each individual plant. But they were doing it. They're growing corn up in there. It's amazing. These guys are brilliant, man, when it comes to agriculture.
That's what I mean. I'm not putting down Indians at all, but you don't think, when you think of Indians, common people think of the tents, and all that, but you don't really think of them like building, like, I'm not saying they're building pyramids.
No.
That style, you don't think of that until you see this. And this is done by early Indians.
Early settlers. Settlers. They built those beautiful little structured houses up in the cliff sides, down below. They even have a competition arena. It's in the hole. It's a hole. It's a large hole. And they go down by steps, and they would play with apparently would be a sacrifice. They would have the head of an enemy wrapped like a ball and like a bag, and they would throw the head into a hole like basketball from one end to the other end. There'd be a hole there and a hole there, and they would have this enemy's head in a bag, and they would throw it back and forth, kind of like like basketball / rugby, whatever. Is pretty fucking gruesome. Especially having a fucking human head as the ball. And they would throw it into the hole to make a point. That's how they'd score. Pretty fucking hardcore. So they would do sacrifices there too. Very important back at that time. Well, hell, even the Israelites did sacrifice. Everybody sacrificed back in that day. Everyone had a person they sacrificed. So they were into that too.
Be kind of cool to get permission to camp there,
Oh.
and do like a whole night kind of a investigation. Even do some paranormal voices, because I'm sure a lot of Indians have died there.
Oh, a lot of death there.
Especially if there's a lot of sacrifice that went on here. That's a lot
Lot
of
of
anger. That's a lot of anger energy.
A lot of death there. Yeah. They're the ones that are saying we're living in the fourth world. Their history is that they went underground, then they come out from under the earth, from inside the earth, outside, and we're in the fourth world. So we're in the fourth world now, living the fourth kind of the fourth kind. Yeah, interesting, man. Interesting.
It really is, because
and they disappeared.
And you look at the texture on the shapes and what they were making. I mean, it's almost like a landing strip.
Yeah, a lot of mystery with these guys. It's the same with the Aztecs who just disappeared. These civilizations they're gone. Yeah, archaeologists talk about it in the class, and they were like, they just disappeared. They don't have any record. Like, it's like, so if they had wandered off to the next area, then it would have that oral tradition follow them. But there's no oral traditions that follow them anywhere. There's nothing, no stories. They're just fucking gone. Just gone.
Gone. That's it. That's why it was so fascinating, because, like you said, they were just gone.
Gone. Like they got picked up. Like the UFO conspiracists say, there's every so often there's going to be a catastrophe. It's going to happen. And they simply come down and pick up the chosens, whoever the chosen ones are. And apparently they were a chosen group amongst other groups, and picked up and ushered away, sent somewhere else. What's another place? Maybe they went to Sagittarius.
Oh.
Much bigger place. Sagittarius is much bigger. So maybe they went to Sagittarius. So they picked up all these Orion spurs and then taken them off to Sagittarius. I don't know. Aztecs were there. How many groups just got picked up and taken away? Don't know anything about it.
Here's Juan Torres, complete civilization reset.
Reset, yeah. Yeah. Maybe one side got wiped out and the other side didn't. We don't know. It's amazing.
And that's the whole thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
We find a 3-minute video on the mystery of. Let me see.
Strange how an entire group can just wake up one day in a different place, just be picked up and moved.
It's 3 minutes. Let's see what they say here.
See what they say.
Great kiva, or ceremonial chamber of the Chacoan people.
There it is.
So fair, her first clear understanding that the Chacoan buildings are not only oriented to astronomy, but also related to each other on lines of astronomy. This kiva is oriented in all its major features to the sun. The doorways are north-south of each other, aligned to the meridian axis of the sun, each day at noon. And the post holes, which held the large timbers supporting the roof, are located in a pattern north-south and east-west of each other. 2 key niches in the kiva wall are on an exact east-west alignment to the sun at equinox.
I mean, that's what I mean. They lined it up perfectly with the
Perfectly.
sun.
Yeah.
They don't have modern tools like we do. I mean, these people really know how to live off the land, and really, I know there's some 2-hour videos. Of course, we can't play those here. That takes over our show. But there's some 2-hour shows saying, they were helped. I don't know. It could be. That's why we're talking about it. That's why it's so interesting. Let's see what else they say.
Okay. And hello to you guys in the sidebar. I see you. Hello. Chocolate cheese.
Oh, yeah. We'll get back to their comments. This is only a couple minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's just kind of neat to see it with the video footage, like how it's kind of designed. I mean, you think of Egypt, building this kind of stuff, but this stuff is built all over the world.
All over.
And not just
back of
the
this fucking
Egyptians.
turtle.
This was built by American Indians or
All
Native Indians, before we
All
took over. And look, it just lines up with the sky.
It's built it everywhere, man. Every inch of this place.
5 stories in height, and with hundreds of rooms. The Chaco
Can't hear it though.
required an enormous construction
Um,
in this desolate canyon. The buildings incorporated.
I know. Is this
There you
video?
go. There you go.
This video is very low volume.
Yeah.
60 miles from the canyon.
Yeah, I can't turn it up anymore.
Computer modeling allows us to see how enormous and complex the original buildings were. This central building, Chetrikettle, was 4 stories high, and it contained 700 rooms.
Got a bit of stunk.
Yeah. Some say it was built for power. Okay, but built what kind of power? You know what I mean?
These were master builders and architects, and they were remarkable astronomers.
I think the spirits still remain here in Chaco. So, at one time, the ancient people that lived here in Chaco called the spirits to be a part of their lives here. And I think the spirits still recognize this place and are still a part of Chaco.
Chaco Canyon.
But you don't really hear too much about it, and it's such an interesting thing. It's
Yeah. They you can see they follow the ley lines, like a compass, man. It runs north, south, east perfectly, magnetic. It's like, how did they have a compass? It could be made. I mean, it doesn't take a brilliant person to make a fucking compass. I always argue that in archaeology. I was like, come on. I mean, anybody can, as long as you have some sort of, you could do it by accident by picking up a bucket with water and having some metal in it. Fine shavings will start turning itself into a direction. Over time, you'd figure out there's something going on with that. Then you do your star alignment. So, oh my God, it's pointing towards that direction. We'll call it north.
oh.
Compasses are hard.
Rockwall in Texas is mystery. Yeah, we did it. We actually did a show on that Rockwall in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what that episode was called.
Well, they line up. They'll line up like in Ireland. They'll have a structure that's lined up exactly the same way in the directions. Perfect measurement alignment. Then you go to Chaco Canyon and their structures are identical alignment. It's like they're communicating. It's like, how the fuck do they have the same exact alignment as they do over there? And in South America, in Middle East, all over this grid, man. It's everybody's lined up perfectly. It's amazing. And they all follow the stars. Every one of them follows the stars, the sun, the moon.
There it is. I found it. The wall that he's talking about, we did a show.
Texas.
In the episode, we called it Ancient Ruins Buried Beneath a Texas Town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Chocolate Cheese, if you haven't seen it, I'm putting that video link right there in the chat. That's the link to that show you're talking about with that wall. We talked about that. We talk about all of it. We'll find these hidden because they're built for something. They're built for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, people don't realize this, but the Freemason, nothing to do with the group, whatever. However, when they do their buildings, they're following the same patterns. If you look at Washington, D.C., the way they have the monolith and all the buildings structured the same way. So this information has been carried down. It's being processed. You go to the Middle East, dude, you go to those cities in the Middle East, you have these architects go over and they have the same layouts. Of course, modern buildings. Well, of course, they're not mud huts. But if you do the math, it's like, wow, it's the same. They do the same astrological alignments in this place all over. The star forts. Star forts are lined up the same way everywhere you go. We go up to far as Germany. Well, it's not underwater now. It's underwater now, but there are same alignments. Go to Turkey, same thing. And then you go to the actual modern cities. You notice that these guys had followed some sort of pattern, the same exact way. So everyone's doing it. Everybody. Just don't talk about it. Unless you're taught about it.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't talk about it because, there's got to be a reason why.
Sacred geometry.
Let me see
it's
here.
All math.
Ever since discovered the sun dagger, Anna Sofer and her associate project team of researchers have been exploring the enigmas posed by the massive prehistoric ruins of the Chaco, New Mexico. So the sun dagger. I like that name. The sun dagger.
Sun dagger.
Yeah, I'm trying to see these.
Stick in the ground.
I would like to go there just to go camping. Just have a little fire in this place.
Well, there's a lot of UFO activity. That's what we're kind of focused on. Is all that.
Well, that's why this show. That's why the UFOs is actually in the title, because there is a lot of UFOs.
Lots of it.
I mean, even Roswell. Even if you did Roswell, not real or not. But that was in New Mexico.
Yeah, it's continuous. Then you have the argument: are they from another planet, or are they interdimensional, or are they coming from inside the Earth, or from under the ocean, or from Antarctica, or from beyond the dome, or from a planet? Or where the fuck? I'm sure somebody's going to find out one day. So we're going to
shout out to Martin Lidke who brought me to this type of research about 4 years ago.
Yeah,
it's interesting stuff because it really is, Torres. I mean, shit. These are built by Indians, where you don't think of Indians building like Egyptians type of buildings, but they did, And like I said, like Bob said, the thing is here, they disappeared.
They just disappeared.
They were just gone, and they don't know. At this moment in time, they don't know why they left. And then they also, when they left, they sealed. If you watch the documentary, it's on Amazon Prime. They sealed a lot of the walls right before they left.
Like they were going to come back. Yeah,
they're going to come back, or they want to keep people out of certain spots.
Yeah. Well, if they're going to leave it and never come back, but if they were going to seal it off, that means they planned on coming back. They just didn't know where back was. Where did they go? Did they go to a mirror dimension? It's exactly the same, but in the other place it's prosperous? Did they just change? Another argument amongst the conspiracy theorists is it's not so much as they've left, it's just they've changed frequencies, because we're just frequencies, we're just vibrations or particles vibrating. We're a song. Did they just change songs and frequency? Are they still there? But they're just not there. Like
that's true. That's true. Chrissy, pyramids everywhere. Some people say that these pyramids is part of the Mandela effect, because at one time we only knew like pyramids in Egypt, but now it's like out of nowhere pyramids keep popping up all around the world. It's like, or for some reason, why weren't they talked about if they were always there? I mean, what are they holding back? I mean, it's all a freaking mystery.
Yeah, the Egyptians themselves, now people don't realize it, because you have a town next to Egypt, so you think that they are the descendants from no, they're migrants, goat herders from a long time ago that filled in the areas. The Egyptians themselves were Caucasoid, red-haired, they were fucking gingers, and they disappeared. You understand? They just up and gone. People don't know about that. They think that we've been pushed into directions, but people ignore the genetics behind it. No, they were ginger, and so they were not locally from there. You know, they were there for thousands of years, but they come from somewhere else and migrated there. But then they're gone. And then the desert dwellers had took over, probably the servants at the time, and took over the areas. And so now that's Egypt is full of shit when they say that they were the originals. No, you were not there. You were migrants there. Same thing there, gone. It's disappeared. The Egyptian pyramids were lined up for Orion's belt. They were lined up for the Orion's belt constellation. I don't know. Then they're gone. And so these other ones have lined themselves up with certain constellations. They're gone.
Gone. You know what, Chocolate Cheese? I would love it if Bob and I could actually go research Wyoming because the state is the least populated state. Who knows what's there? And a lot of things are found because, I hate to say it, they're building new buildings, building. They're digging. So they run into things. You're talking about a whole state that really hasn't been dug. I mean, to certain areas. I mean, I bet there's a lot of mysteries in Wyoming. And I think Discovery Channel, if they're watching, we know they are. You should send us there too.
Yeah.
You know what, Amadella? That is interesting because Bonnie and Clyde were not lovers in this timeline. Clyde was he could have been, but
another gay.
Well, that's interesting. That is interesting because, when you really think about Bonnie and Clyde, I mean, it's not a Bonnie and Clyde show. It's not a Bonnie and Clyde show, but everything you watched, everything you've seen, they really weren't lovers in anything you ever saw. They were like business partners. I don't know if we assumed they were lovers or they were original written as lovers and somehow that changed. But when you physically look at Bonnie and Clyde, you're right. They never were shown as lovers. A great freaking movie. If you guys like movies, it's not all about Bonnie and Clyde, but Netflix has a movie called The Highwaymen with Kevin Costner.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Kevin Costner and the guy from Cheers.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Bonnie and Clyde weren't like in the whole movie, but you never see them as lovers.
Everything switched here. I already saw it. Everything switched. You got Kennedy now has supposedly, according to literature, has a guy that he had bunked with in college living at the White House. Looks real fruity. It comes off as really gay now. So Kennedy was gay, I guess. Abraham Lincoln has always been rumored, but now he's visited a man in a log cabin, a secret friend that he would have to go meet up with. A lot of masculine men have now tilted it. They're practicing the art of soft hand, and so there's been a lot of soft-handedness in history. I've noticed the switch myself. Eric's famous T-shirt. That don't shock me. That don't shock me.
No, it doesn't. I like what Torres wrote here. Previous civilization was more advanced than modern day technology. They would say the ancients were just built huts and had chicken bones for tools. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying.
No way.
We think of Egyptians are the ones who built the pyramids. They're the one of the most advanced. But when you start looking around the world, when you start actually doing research where some channels don't want you to, you start seeing no, they built these places all around the world. We're just
everywhere, even the Roman Empire.
Yeah, we just, for whatever reason, as a country, as a world, we just don't talk about it. If it's not the pyramids, then nobody talks about it. What about that wall that was built in Texas?
Yeah,
that's an incredible wall that was built there.
There's Roman leftover garrisons or whatever in China. Rome went to China, and then they're talking about remains that looks Roman in South America. So I have to look at the patterns, and I've noticed that, South America is pretty damn close to Africa now. The distance, the Pacific Ocean is getting smaller and smaller it gets for whatever reason. We don't want to talk about that. But it seems that more things keep popping up in antiquity, like a freeway, man. Everybody was crossing. Pretty soon we're going to wake up tomorrow and find out there was whole civilizations in the United States, which there is appearing everywhere. Civilizations in the United States have been. Now we've got evidence that some Israelites made it to the States. There's artifacts popping up with early Arabic speaking, early Hebrew. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I just want to say that Hobbs likes my shirt. Hobbs
I like
likes it. You know why, Hobbs? You know why I like it? Because every time I was wearing it, and everybody's looking at it like, "What is that?" Nobody knows what it is, right? Nobody knows what it is. That's what I like. You know, it's not like those dumb shirts like Poop of Reality and stuff like take pills and drugs, blah, blah, blah. They see Gypsy Road Effect, they actually stop. And the thing is, they stop and ask you, what's Gypsy Road Effect? Oh, it's about the traveling, about researching, it's about the getting on that road and getting the effect of learning things out there, learning life.
Yeah.
There's so much out there to learn. There's no reason why we need to stop. Yes, we live in a tough world. Yes, we do. But hey, we got YouTube. We got people from different parts of the world we could talk to. There's no reason we can't travel, even though we can't travel.
I am traveling,
but we can't travel.
I am traveling. I'm broke, but I'm trying to travel.
Oh, what does it say?
It depends on that passport now. Everybody
I will wear it at work in a Catholic college. Well, the thing is, church people don't know what it is. I mean, you can spin this shirt any way you want.
Yeah.
You can say this is about a journey to spiritual, trying to find the ultimate question to life.
Then hit them up with the lion and the lamb question and see what they say to that.
I didn't tell you. Right before the show.
Yeah.
Right before the show at 9:30, I had to do my online fighting the ticket for the tabs.
That's so fucking weird. Man.
I know, right? You're right. So no, it's kind of weird because you don't go in. We did it through Zoom and all that.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that I had my shirt on with a tie, trying to look nice, and I didn't realize you're allowed to blank yourself out. Everybody else was blank except for the judge and me, and I'm like, oh well. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt.
It was better.
So once I've seen like other people like getting their case like knocked down, like nope. When she came to me, I go, I'm just trying to see if I can defer my ticket. And defer. What that is, people, if you get a speeding ticket, no tags or whatever, if you have never done a deferred, you just say you want to defer. And what they do is instead of me, I had to pay $250, I still have to pay $150. Oh well, I mean, but what it is I can't get another ticket for a year. If I don't, the ticket will never go on my record. Now, if I get another ticket, they both appear. But this is the way I look at it. If I don't take that deal, that ticket is going to be on my record anyway. So I'll roll the dice, take the chance for the next year. So if you guys ever get a speeding ticket or anything like that, just mark the box to fight it. And if you haven't, you're only allowed to use a deferral every 7 years. So if you never use a deferral, you just say, hey, I want to defer my ticket, and then boom, you're out. You still have to pay a small fine, but at least your insurance don't go up. And because if I try to tell that judge, I had a Mandela effect because I know I paid it. I know reality changed it. That judge would look at me like, shut up. You're paying the full price. You know what I mean? I don't think the judge is going to accept a Mandela effect case.
I had that problem, man. I've never had a ticket a day in my life. I've driven anyway, but anyway, I got one, but it wasn't I don't call it a real ticket because it was one of them cameras, dude. And so it was 2016, and I have taken the same corner for years, a decade on this corner. And all of a sudden, a fucking camera. And I'm like, there's never been a camera here ever. And I went out and I found out that camera's been there for like a year and a half. I said, "You never been a camera there."
At least camera.
I want to tell the judge that. Look, I'm not from here.
At least
I just got here.
But at least camera tickets.
Yeah.
Now camera ticket doesn't go on your record like a.
I know.
But You win those automatically anytime you want, because all you have to say, because the person who gets the ticket is who owns the car. You can always say that I wasn't driving that day, and you have to throw it out. Even though you were driving that day, you just say I wasn't driving that day.
Yeah, I was gonna tell him. Look, seriously, man. I know this sounds crazy, but I just got here around June or July from Sagittarius, and I'm not from here. And the traffic light used to be green on top, and now it's at the bottom, and I'm confused. So I'm getting used to your local traditions and customs in the upside down world, but I don't think that would work. I was wondering how that would work. I was like, they'll probably lock me up if I try to explain that to him.
Ask the
I
lion.
think I'd still look for that ticket.
He told me he was a lion. Oh, that's cool. Hobbs at his workplace, he asked the lion the lamb question at work. He told me he was the lion. See, that's cool because Hobbs works at a Catholic church. He knows the Bible a lot more than I do. I can't do that because I don't know what's in the Bible.
Oh, dude, you should ask him about Immaculate Conception. Ask him, what is the Immaculate Conception? And see what they say. They're going to say, well, it's when Jesus was born in her belly. You're going to be like, no.
Either way, the lamb got the short end of the stick.
Although the wolf don't sound too bad. I don't give a shit. I'm digging.
And then
wolf don't sound bad.
And I'll tell you. Nah, I won't tell you guys this so secret. Let me see here. And then I actually pull up, some UFO stuff that's in New Mexico. And let me see let me share my screen here. Let me share it. I got 2 different websites, but this one here is 5 times UFOs and aliens were maybe spotted in New Mexico. The famous one chasing that one, it was actually in New Mexico. Is there anything more closely associated with New Mexico than Hatch Green Child? It's aliens and UFOs. Ask anyone who knows about the sightings of ET kind, and they're likely to pop off Roswell. Of course, Roswell is a famous story that has happened. It happened in Roswell, in New Mexico. If Helen of Troy faced launch 1,000 ships, then infamous incident from July 1947 launched 1,000 theories and an alien-centric craze that has been building the last 74 years. Shoot, 1,000 theories. It's probably 1,000,000 theories on that. But hey, it's cool. Real or not, it opened people's eyes and want people to do research. That's fine. That's fantastic. Even people say, well, Eric, that's Roswell's fake. It doesn't matter. If that's what it took to open people's eyes to look into the unknown, fantastic. I saw a movie Friday. I didn't do a review on it because I went and saw Jungle Cruise, the Disney Jungle Cruise.
Oh God.
Okay. Now the movie for a grown-up is way too long. 45 minutes, way too long. But it's good for kids. And why I say that is, if you're a kid, at least Jungle Cruise gives them the imagination about trying to find clues, trying to find, the quest for the magic tree. So if for that way, I recommend it for kids because everybody needs something for a little shove to do. Want to research this kind of stuff. Be like a architect. Kind of like you. If Jungle Cruise, now for a grown up, it is 45 minutes way too fucking long, but for a kid, it's good for a kid. And also, I'm not making this a movie show, but I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this CGI in this movie, and the CGI is not great. And I'm sitting here thinking, fucking Disney's got all the money in the world. They put CGI in their superhero Star Wars. Here you got probably at this moment in time in life, you got the 2 biggest stars in the world.
Yeah,
you got Rock and Emma Blunt from Fireplace. And you give them the most shittiest CGI. I'm sitting here like, I don't know. And it's like, is there like I always want to go to Disney. Goes, you guys got like a different floor for CGI, minor CGI, good CGI, top floor for the best. how can one be good for this movie, but in this one it looks like shit? Do we have different people? Do we?
Well,
have...
they're cutting production costs.
It's like I don't know. Hold on. What does he say here? I'm sorry about that, guys. I'll get off the movie thing. Mandela affected the uterus. Hold on. The Utrascan made dentures, bridges, replaced lost teeth back in the 700 BC. The BC devised in Rome in the 6th century, added by the monk Dinos Igenius, not the BCE, before the Common Era.
Yeah, BC. Yeah, it's changed. Yeah, that threw me into a hole because it used to be BC, before Christ, and now it's BCE, before the Common Era. And I'm like, what the fuck? In AD, and I'm like, when the hell did they start? I remember in archaeology, I used to, because I was not a Christian, and I was like, well, I'm a little bit offended by the BC shit. I don't like that before Christ stuff for the rest of the scientists. But at least I got used to it, and it is what it is forever. I was like, it's easy. So I just gave up the whole, forget about the religion, just leave it alone. But now it's BCE. I'm like, it's not before Christ? No, it's before Common Era. When the hell? Also, archaeology has an A in it. Now, they only ever use archaeology when you're talking about academics or you're in an academics field, but it was always, even getting a job with the USA Jobs, the government, it was always archaeology, EOLOGY. They didn't have the A in it. Not everybody put the A, only in like super disciplines where they have the A, which is proper.
Hey, Bob, here's a good question. So what do they consider the Common Era?
Well, you got to look up the definition. I got to figure it out myself. Again, it's new for me too.
That's what I'm saying.
We were using also in academics. We were using BP, before present, and then we would go backwards with it was complicated. BP, before present. But it was, everybody just shut their fucking mouths and stopped having headaches. We were just going, BC, just leave it alone. It's easy with BC, with before Christ. That's what it was. But there's no Christ anymore, before Common Era. I'm like, oh, okay. Can you give us a headache anymore? Now, that's what he's talking about. Yeah, the BCE, which just come out of nowhere. Same thing with archaeology, which is now being dominantly used, which was not. The BCE, all of archaeology is all fucked up. Everything's upside down.
Yeah.
Complicated.
Well, let's read this story here. A shootout with aliens and duels, New Mexico. A shootout. If you never heard of Phil Snyder, then I suggest you give him a Google. The claims he made and the conspiracy theory surrounding his death made for a quiet and interesting rabbit hole. Okay. But for the too long didn't read crowd out there, Snyder was a government engineer who helped design and build military bases. He made waves in 1995 when he began sharing details about surviving a firefight between aliens and the United States military in 1979 in a secret underground base near Dulles. Snyder died in 1996. Official word is it was a suicide, but fans of his aren't convinced. Well, guys, first of all, guys, listen. First of all, if he did all this, right? If he's part of the government, he did this. Well, no offense to him, that he's the most dumbest motherfucker in the world. Because if you really did all this undercover, whatever, with the government, know if you say something, something's going to happen to you. I mean, it is.
It was an accident.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he was working for the government, and he was I guess he was the geologist. I remember him being like a geologist. Anyway, a whole crew. And they had dug down into a tunnel where I guess it started to escape stanky ass gas So then they want to go down and see what was going on in the obviously a hollow cave tunnel thingy. He goes down into it with another Marine or two, where he's confronted by, I guess, little grays. And then the little grays, I guess they had reached and grabbed, I guess the Marines grabbed their weapons that fire upon the grays, which also had some sort of laser and killed one of the fucking Marines and then melted half his fingers off. And then when he melted half his fingers off.
Hey, Bob, some guy named Robert Wood wrote he was strangled by his own breathing tube.
Okay, well, that's what they said. Yeah, he's strangled by his own breathing tube. Yeah, it's one of that's what. Yeah,
I'm glad you wrote that to yourself.
Yeah, I've got a little typer right here. Yeah, I'm typing it. Yeah, so there's a whole lot of Robert Woods out there. So anyway, a whole coalition of us. Anyway, I'm Robert Wood. Who's Robert Wood? I'm Robert Wood. Anyway, so yeah, he gets his fingers burned off, dude, and so he sees all these things down there, ships. He sees more grays. He sees all these extraterrestrials he's spotted down there. And finally somebody covered him up and they got him back in the elevator and brought him back up. And then that person died also. So then he went on this campaign to talk about it, how the government knows about these extraterrestrials living inside the mountain, using it for experiments. Humans are in big, huge containers, body parts, and all. There are all kinds of genetic experiments, and how they got all this information, I don't know. But yeah, that's the story about that guy. But yeah, he was on a tour for a while talking about all of that. Then all of a sudden he died. He was strangled by his own breathing tube.
Of course.
I was like, okay, that's not murder. And anyway, if it's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because you know, and I know if you said some things that you're not supposed to say that was on a ship that you were on, you know you'll be getting a knock on your door.
Oh, you'll get a knock on your door. You probably your brakes will just all of a sudden go out. Or somebody will drop a ping pong ball into your gas tank filled with nitrous and it explodes, and then they blame it on gas or something. But here's these little grays in the tubes in the underground. There he is. I've seen him several times.
Yeah, that's what he looks like. Underground.
Yes, he's missing his fingers. He's missing his finger. He got his fingers burned off by a laser. It is focused the laser onto killed the guy next to him, and then focused on his hands. They just melted off. It just burnt right off. Fell right off in ash. And then
a very brave man recently lost his life due to what appeared to be a military-style execution. And weird, right? New Mexico.
Yeah.
Do we know? Yeah. No, I didn't read where it is happened exactly, where this battle was. Is it anywhere near that New Mexico?
Yeah, down there. Yeah. It's in the little description. The name is the mountain. I forgot the name of the mountain. It's in the mountain. He was drilling into. Remember, our grandpa was an architect, and he dug tunnels.
Yes, he did.
Ironically, we have a grandfather that dug tunnels.
And
for the United States government.
Yeah, he did some nuclear stuff. He
said
that these regular mountains that you look like a normal mountain, but if there's a nuclear war, you're going to be surprised that some of these mountains are going to open up.
Yeah, our grandfather did all that. That's fucking weird now. I look back and say, wow, that's fucking weird now. Our grandpa actually dug the holes and kind of like what he did. Dug these big old huge caverns out underground. A lot of underground shit. That's why they moved around. Dad moved around a lot. Huh. Now I look back at the family, Eric. Scratch my fucking head. I'm like, what? Where were we born into? The whole damn family's involved in something fucking deep with the government.
Texas Danny. Greetings and salutations. Welcome, Texas
Salutations.
Danny. Mystical.
That's what I always say. Salutations.
Shelly. Yeah, it's good to see Shelly here. That's awesome. Yeah, Phil Snyder went with this woman investigator whose name I forget. They went under Denver airport in places that were off limits. Phil Snyder, there was a dump under the Denver airport. Dump under the airport.
Yeah, the Denver airport's another weird one. It's kind of interesting now that you've got a guy there with a mask on.
He got his blasted off by alien laser.
Laser, yes.
That's what they say. Yeah, that's what they say. And it's all in New Mexico, people. The canyon, mystical powers. I'm not sure powers, but underground tunnels. I mean, and you're talking about a desert state. I mean, this fucking California next to the beaches or an agriculture area. This is harsh lands.
Well, I'm kind of wondering about them aliens now because let's face it, them southern states are getting hit by a typhoon, but are hitting torrential rains, and those tunnels will be filling up. So I don't know. Maybe it's why you see so many UFOs out right now, because all the earth tunnels are getting filled with water. And I'm not bullshitting. It's all over the place. Every time I do my research, I check the weather every day. I'm like, oh, another place is flooded. Oh, another place just flooded. Oh, fucking 3 more places just flooded. Those southern dry states are now getting torrential rains, and they're starting to flood in the areas. So them tunnels are starting to fill up with water. They're not protected that much.
No.
Wow.
Well, let's see this next story. Aztec and UFO crash and dead aliens. Okay. Was it a hoax or a legit case of visitors from another world? Whatever it was, the event sure drummed up excitement in 1948. Excitement still felt today throughout New Mexico and the UFO community. The story, as told by Frank Scully, goes a 99-foot wide metal disc. Oh, is this the Roswell one? Crash landed in Hart Canyon. Inside the UFO were dozens of alien bodies. The U.S. military swept up. Is this the Roswell incident? This one?
Probably.
Many people believe Scully was hoodwinked by some comment. Whatever the case is, it's a story that long held the imagination of believers and skepticals alike. And here's a picture of this. It went right over the top of us. American Airlines pilot report UFO over New Mexico. So that picture there, that famous one here, over New Mexico again.
Yeah, it's over that dry New Mexico. Always. Well, now I think they're all out because they're getting flooded in the caves. They're getting, if it's real, they're coming out, man, like ants.
yeah. Chocolate cheese in Seattle has been dry. I think we're on like 51 or 52 days without any kind of rain.
Oh my God! They're getting the opposite, man. They're getting the opposite. It's been pounded in England, all over Europe, all over. Even Saudi Arabia is getting fucking wiped out. China's getting fucking hit by heavy typhoons, one after the other. India is getting fucking hit. Everybody's getting hit with these either, I don't know, tornadoes. Desert fucking washouts. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you what is going on. So you guys, I'm not a doom and gloomer. I don't believe in that shit. I ain't gonna fucking die. I'll be fine.
Guys, in the chat, what happened was Bob was in Antarctica, and Bob decided to take a piss on this huge ice wall type of wall. And Bob took a piss, and he basically melted the ice wall. And most of the melted water from his piss has went into the ocean that has caused different waves, different weather things. So you guys can all blame Bob for it. He had to
desalinated whatever fucking I've screwed up the whole salt mixture to water mixture in the water with my piss. And so now we're having massive rainstorms everywhere.
What did he say? Texas Danny says, Roberto, please read the cloud cover as a tool. It helps to show how new formations happen.
Okay, I will do that. I'll take a look. I will look. Yeah, we had a sunny day today, which was nice. It was a refreshing day. So today was nice.
Well, let's see this one here. This is a UFO sighting in Socorro. In 1964, Socorro police officer Lonnie Zamora was attempting to tend to what he believed to be the motorist in need just south of Sorco. As approached the vehicle, he realized it was shaped like an egg. Oh, I hate that when a car is shaped as an egg. Modern day, it'd probably be a bug, but that's different. And he noticed landing gear and a specific red markings on the object, which begins lifting away as he grew nearer. Turns out Zomer wasn't the only local to have seen the aircraft. Another 5 witnesses came across to describe similar sightings from around the same time Zomer experienced what he did. That's the stories I like, when other people in the same areas come across and say they saw this. But not knowing what the other person is saying, what the shape is. And they're all almost naming the same shape without knowing the other person.
Oh, yeah. The egg shaped. It's egg. What year is this? Because remember, all the UFOs change depending on what year it is.
1964.
So around an egg shaped in 64, which is usually rare because that's the disc time. That's usually when they were all discs. I'm surprised they didn't say it was blue. They're turning into blue. Everything's blue now when they talk about seeing UFOs. So it was blue, okay. But okay, an egg shape. I'm sure maybe it was Mork from Mork and Mindy. I don't know.
And here's one: the armada of alien crafts over Farmington. In something out of a sci-fi thriller, an armada of flying object was seen turning in skies over Farmington in 1950 in broad daylight over the course of several days and seen by alleged hundreds of people. While no UFO crashes or aliens encounters were reported during that time, there were many eyewitness accounts to be so-called game of tag that was seamlessly being played by floating cavalcade. Report also indicate one of the UFOs was red in color, apparently leading the rest of the group in movement.
So what's up with the red now? People, I've never heard of anybody reporting any UFOs with red in it. That's kind of weird for me to hear. I'm being honest with you. I've never heard of any UFOs having any red in it. It was just a week ago. People were reporting them blue. Wow. So now they're red. Okay.
What did Mandela Effect says? Think they'll enjoy the journey. If you research it properly, here's your starter. Ghost Dance, 1860.
Okay. The Ghost Dance. You sure that wasn't against the American cavalry? At this point, yeah, why not? Because the American cavalry were wearing Prussian helmets with a spike on it. If you look up American cavalry, you're going to see some guys with a Prussian fucking helmet on with a spike. There's no Prussian spiked helmets ever in the fucking cavalry. And they have Europeanish uniforms.
This is what it says. Ghost Dance was a new religious movement among Native Americans. It was active from about 1860 to about 1890.
Yeah.
Around 1860, a Native American police called Wadswawab had a vision. He saw that white people would be like that. He saw that white people would be driven away, and the people would be reunited with their ancestor spirits and called ghosts.
Well, yeah. The Sitting Bull was doing that too. They were in fact, that's what caused the old Custer's Last Stand up in Montana. It was from those dances, and those dances are where the cavalry were called in to shut them down, and that's when they had the old the old Custer's Last Stand up in Montana. I did a whole paper on that. Oh, big time, yeah. But they got retaliated on, so some of them broke off and went up to Canada where they were protected. But they didn't get away with it. Let's say that.
Many dances are banned. Oh, that sucks. Ban some dances. That's not.
Well,
cool.
Yeah, they were banned at the time because they were enticing war.
Have you guys heard of Dancing Plague?
I don't see nobody dancing now. They're too damn drunk.
But have you ever heard of Dancing Plague?
Well, they did rain dances. They did dances to call in the spirits to help them out. I mean, they were, they were spiritualists. They had, I believe in ancestor worship and
Well,
and
here it is. The dancing plague of 1518 was a case of dancing mania that occurred in Stromsburg, Auslach, in the Holy Roman Empire from July 1518 to September 1518. Somewhere between 50 and 400 people took to dancing for days.
the dancing plague of 1518, dude. I've never heard of this. Was this for Dionysus? Was this a Dionysus celebration? What is this? The dancing plague? What? Well, 1500. It wouldn't be. Was it witches?
And look, they're dancing with some skeletons.
The dancing plague.
Yeah, look, they're dancing with skeletons.
Bubonic plague dancing. No, I took a death and dying class, and we studied the early, rituals and the bloodletting and all the wonderful ways they treated it. But the dancing plague. Well, Mandela Affected, you're in the sidebar. What do you think of the dancing plague? I don't remember that. So this would be something. It would be a European history thing. So,
chocolate cheese said right there. Sounds like Footloose. That's
sounds
right.
like Footloose.
That's what they did in Footloose. He was doing the dancing plague.
Should we be doing a dancing plague? I mean, is this what we need to be doing? Since everybody's immune systems have been wiped off, they've been wiped away. If you got the shot, goodbye immune system.
They danced until they died. Yeah.
They danced till they died. They danced till they died.
Robert Wood, of all people, I would have swore you heard of Dancing Plague.
I've never heard of Dancing Plague. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I took a death and dying thing at the university. I never mentioned.
Heard about it 2 years ago, covered in a stream.
Okay, and then that's the first I heard about it. Dancing Plague. So they danced till they died. And they recorded this. Somebody witnessed this at the time and wrote it down in Latin, I would assume, because that's what they were writing in back in the day. So in Latin, they wrote down they have paintings of it. Okay. The dancing plague.
Some kind of freak. I know, right? All right.
Okay.
To go along with the show, I found another page that says top 10 unsolved New Mexico mysteries. And I was just curious, I'm not saying they're all related to the canyon or all that, but I thought it'd be interesting because it's turning out that New Mexico has a lot of mysteries of it. There's a lot of mysteries there. Like, here we go. Oh, well, number one, I mean, I'm not going to read the Roswell UFO crash. No. I mean, that's an easy one. But number two is Geronimo skull.
Geronimo skull, yeah.
Yeah. Some say Yale University's Skull and Bone Society stole Geronimo's skull from the Apache chief's grave of Sart Hill, Oklahoma, and are currently housing it in New Haven, Connecticut lair. One of Guillermo's grandsons, Harlan Geronimo, filed a lawsuit in 2009 demanding the bones be returned to their right resting place in New Mexico. Does that secret society really possess Geronimo's skull? Only Geronimo's spirit may ever know.
Well, also, they're reported to have John the Baptist's skull. John the Baptist had his head was removed. And so John the Baptist's skull is all supposed to have been picked up by the Templars and brought to Yale. And now they have supposedly a set of skulls from iconic people. Yeah. And John the Baptist, Geronimo, and among others.
Well, the only interesting thing there is there must have been enough for an attorney to say, okay, we could file a lawsuit. I mean, because if you're an attorney, you got to put money up to file a lawsuit. It's not free. It's not free. You have to win a lawsuit. So there had to be something that convinced an attorney group, unless this is all done for publicity to get free publicity, but that's kind of a weird one.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame them. I don't blame that rumor is there. Yeah, I've pretty much heard of it too. So good luck. I hope they get it. I hope they get his skull back because in native cultures, you got to have the complete skeleton. I remember at the Smithsonian Institute, I had to work with the native bones, and every phalange, metacarpal, everything had to be in that box 100%. Every bone had to be in there 100%, or there was hell to raise. I can't imagine him not having that head.
Palmer wrote there are something like 12 genuine skulls of John the Baptist.
Right. Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, supposedly have it there.
Pondering today, how would society deal if government had disclosed aliens really exist, yet fed off of our suffering and negativity? And one more. Now, people say, well, the government's finally coming out with UFOs and stuff. Not really. They're just saying they're recognizing unidentified flying objects. They never mentioned once that they say there's aliens out there. So,
they won't.
I mean, that's like a slap in the face. You're like, the government's finally saying stuff. Yeah. Really? No, they're just saying, listen, if I see 100 planes and I recognize 99 and one of them is something I don't recognize, I could technically come out and say, I saw a UFO. Yeah. It just means I couldn't identify that one plane out of 100.
Well, in their defense, they're just saying we have unidentified. Well, it's ATEP. It's aerial somethings. It's a whole new name for the aerial something. ATEP. I can't remember. It's a whole new thing. The whole new saying for the UFOs. They've got a whole new language for them. It's a whole complete new language. It's not UFOs anymore.
They got the guy from Airwaves, whatever.
Yeah, Tom DeLonge. They got Tom DeLonge.
He's on it. He's got a
Louis.
He's got it taken care of. He's got it taken care of.
Yeah, well, he's got was it Academy for the Stars, which has a little S at the bottom with a double line or one line now. Money, if you want to contribute money to the Academy to the Stars, everybody has an angle, Eric, including that guy that whistle blew, this Louis guy who's also going to run for government. He's going to run now for government. He's going to have a book out pretty soon it's all about the money. Everybody's flocking.
Oh, it's all about the money. It is all about the money. I mean, if you think about all these concerts are finally here now, right? And 70% of all those bands were saying you need to stay safe. We got to recognize what's going on in the world, so we all be safe. And as soon as things is lifted, they're out doing concerts, bringing people back into a spot. So I'm like, okay, all right, you really care about us. You say we have a choice. Since now you have a choice to do a concert, fuck all that. I'm going to throw a concert and get everybody back together. I mean, it's all about money. They're all
the whistleblower that's a big famous fucking Pentagon release, and this guy, I'm going to run for government. Oh, you're going to run for government? Okay, you're going to blackmail the people and vote for you for government so you could release more information. Got it.
Well, let's go to number 3. Number 3 is Tahoe's hum. A small number of Tahoes or Teos, however you guys want to say, Teos residents claim to be plagued by a weird phenomenon. Okay, a relentless humming noise that has been compared to a diesel. I heard of this one before. Diesel engine idling in the distance, known as the Teos hum. The unusual sound has foiled investigators from Los Alamos National Laboratory and the Phillips Laboratory in Albuquerque, Kirkland Air Force Base, who has been unable to identify a cause even today. I've heard that before, where somewhere in New Mexico, people hear this humming sound and
Yeah.
nobody knows where it comes from. I've heard.
Yeah, like a diesel machine, some machine coming. It's in the distance. They can't figure out where it's at. But you've got a lot of property that's not accessible to the public. So it can be coming from that.
Yeah.
Also, they've got multiple black helicopters, and they've got all kinds of stealthy things out there.
Bob, the Chaco Canyon is supposed to be built for power.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, there's supposed to be a lot of that out there. Like it's a lot of, it could be a super generator, it could be underground. Again, our own grandfather dug tunnels out there, so we know about it. Definitely. Can fit a lot of shit in there.
All you guys who just showed up, look at this beautiful shirt. Oh, look at that. Look here, let me get a closer look. You guys can see that. Look at that. Isn't that fucking beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? The Gypsy Road effect. That's a beautiful shirt. Come on, guys. Come on. Look at that. That's beautiful.
That's lovely.
Wait till you guys see my next one, the paranormal effect shirt that I'm going to be picking up next week. Here we go. So I heard of that one. I have heard of that one. So now this one here is I don't fucking know how to pronounce that. La Llorona. Okay, that's good enough. Oh, the whipping woman. I never heard this one. La Llorona, the whipping woman, is a restless soul said to wander rivers and arroyos in different versions of the tale, which are told throughout New Mexico.
Okay.
Mexico and Latin America. She may have been a young mother who killed her children to be with her lover. Unfortunately, that stuff still goes on nowadays. In other tales, she's a poor girl who kills her children when her wealthy lover won't marry her. In every telling, she regrets her action, kills herself, and spends the rest of her ghostly days wandering the waterways in search of her or stage children. Man, New Mexico, goddamn, you got alien crashing. You got a canyon that nobody knows why these people left, and now you got a woman who supposedly she's a whipping woman. Man, I don't ever want to go live in New Mexico. Now, Bob needs to go explore it.
I've heard that same story in almost all over the East Coast. The native woman who killed her children, or the woman that her husband went out to sea and he never returned, so she killed his. I always hear the same story, and then she throws herself off a canyon or throws herself into the ocean. I'm like, this woman gets around. She don't like her kids. It must be brats because she keeps killing them.
What's this long ass? Someone sent me this. Cumberland, as it was for me, is now Cumberbund. Apparently, it was in some Radio Beatles broadcast show on a video platform with Flat Cola. Credit to the person who told the grub.
I don't know about that one. Cumberband is now Cumberbund. For the English, I have to have an English person figure this one out for me.
Well, it is English, right?
Well, yeah, I know he's English. That's why a lot of his stuff is English. A lot of his stuff. And it's language. I have to ask for a translator sometimes. For certain
crazy engineer, crazy energies fields there in New Mexico.
Yeah, they've picked them up. I've seen guys out there with the rad meters, and they have these EMF, electrical magnetic detectors, and it's just the fluctuations off the charts there. Is it from the heavy sodium in the soils, the heavy, it's red because it's oxidized. It's oxidized metal, iron. That's why it's red. So there's a lot of iron in the ground too. So so hard. I hate debunking. It's like,
Oh, what's this one? Chupacabra. What do you get when you cross a vampire with an alien? Ooh, interesting. Cross a vampire with an alien, a coyote, and a kangaroo. Wow, we're gonna mix a kangaroo into this. This is cool. A chupacabra, the goat sucker. Okay, the goat sucker. Literal translation. monsters reportedly drink the blood of livestock. It marks it puncture wounds in the animal's neck. Newspapers report dating to the 1950s suggest the 4-foot tall cryptids was sighted and preying throughout the Americans. Want evidence in roaming New Mexico. In 2005, several Albuquerque's West Mesa residents described finding the corpse of a lizard-like beast with colorful spines. A speedy winged creature was also spotted near Alamogordo.
Yeah.
Chapacurabra real, or is it just urban legend? Man, talk about, you got the weeping woman, you got crashed ships, you got this canyon. Nobody knows what happened to these Indians who left, and now you got this weird creature.
They were chased out by the chupacabra. They were chased out. The chupacabra, it's basically goat blood sucker, and they found even a lot of livestock that is completely drained of all blood, like blood completely drained. However, was that Linda Moulton Howe has that whole market on the mutilation of animals, of cattle mutilations that are also all over there, Eric. There's cattle mutilations where something is removing all of the blood and then removing soft tissue. And what scientists are starting to think now, they're removing tissue with stem cells. They're removing the stem cells, the soft tissue to stem cells. Stem cells are used because they're unprogrammed cells, so you could use them to make anything. So if I wanted to make a whole fleet of clones, I would use stem cells to do it. So Chupacabra is supposed to be little monsters that run around, and they also drink the blood from goats, from smaller animals. They have 2 little pinch marks inside, like 2 puncture marks, and they suck all the blood out. But then again, UFO enthusiasts are saying, no, those are the fucking aliens doing that. It's your choice. What do you want? What do you think? You think it's the little bloodsucker, or is it an alien?
You could say that maybe these creatures belong to the aliens, and they send them out to drink the blood so they could get animals and people's DNA through them.
Actually, yeah, because mosquitoes will pick up DNA. That's how mosquitoes pass on DNA and pick up DNA.
That's what Jurassic Park is built off of. The movie's built off the like you said, they use that use that thing with all the different DNA blood, and they're able to clone. Well, who says the aliens aren't using these creatures for that reason?
Well, in anthropology, there are evolutionists. There's all kinds of weird ideas, but one of them is that some evolutionists believe it or not, that the mosquitoes started the evolution. Mosquitoes started because they take DNA from one animal, then they jump to another animal, and they always end up dropping off that DNA and viruses because they drink blood. So the blood's filled with fucking viruses. So they leap from one to the other, that's where malaria comes from and all the other, but they think that they are the triggers of evolution. Not me, guys. This is some people in the arena who think mosquitoes do it. So these guys could be the same way. I mean, maybe they're the evolution starters.
Here's something. Maybe the atomic experiments have changed New Mexico in some way.
Could, right? No, that's not entirely wrong.
Technically, the character Godzilla is based on a lizard being radiation, nuclear, and stuff. So, and Chernobyl has that evidence to support that.
Around Chernobyl, everyone knows Chernobyl in Russia, the nuclear exploded and there's fucking nuclear waste everywhere. Well, they had these misshapen animals and plants and things, radioactive materials everywhere. You could have these misshapen animals, but they're able to reproduce and create their own again. I don't know, but it's still there. That's one of the that could be an idea.
Yeah.
A lot of nuclear testing out there.
New Mexico does got a lot of things that goes on there. Yeah, let's go. Let's see what the next one says here. Alien. Do we read this one? And in ET infesting the cavern below or outside Dulce, North Mexico, and next cover. Oh yeah. That's
Dulce. That's where it is. That's where he got his fingers shot off.
Yes.
In the caves of Dulce. Yeah.
Dulce.
It's supposed to be steam coming from the mountain, cracks and shit coming up out of there, but I imagine it being filled with water now.
I wonder how far Dulce is from the canyon.
Probably not that far.
Let's see here.
That whole goddamn area. And a lot of the areas over there, dude, are government owned.
Dulce.
They're government owned property.
Okay. Dulce, New Mexico.
Dulce.
Well, hold on. We're gonna see how close it is. Let's pull up MapQuest because I got MapQuest. Let's discover this together. Okay, so Dulce, New Mexico. That's the little dot. Okay, we need where are you starting from? Well, we're gonna start from okay, hold on. We're gonna start from there. Then where are we going? We're going to that canyon. Chaco
Canyon.
Chaco Cartland. Chaco Canyon. Chaco Canyon.
Dulce.
No, not design. Is there a city? Chaco Canyon Consulting, Cambridge, Maine. What area?
Well, Dulce of an area. It's a big mountain.
Yeah, it's a big mountain. What's the let me see here. Whoops. What's the name of the area where God, I hate this.
Are you in New Mexico?
Yeah, you can see Dulce. You can see the black dot.
Yeah, that's a mountain range. Those are mountains.
That's the mountain range. So it's close to another state, but I'm trying to look on this map. Where is the canyon at? Who cares?
Who cares? They're all. It's by it's close enough if you have an air like something that flies the speed of light. There's no distance between those things.
Well, here's aliens in Aztec in March 1948. A flying saucer. Look, we were talking about the early days. The flying saucer may have crashed in Hart Canyon, northwest of Aztec. Witness reported finding a large sublime crafted disc and discovering 14 to 16, depending on whom you ask, showed a small humanoid corpse from the wreckage. The government dispatched a team of scientists to recover the bodies and investigate them. Of course, the scientists were sworn to strict secrecy, so their findings still remain unknown today to find out more. Well, if they're all sworn to secrecy, then how do people even know this much?
Right. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't never heard of that one. I've never heard of that crash. I mean, just never heard of it. They just come out with it. I mean, I'm sure they could just somebody leaked the story finally before they died, maybe. I don't know.
Four corners is extremely important.
Yeah, especially where we are now. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, all the cities are marked that way. Everything's marked that way. All the stuff. I think Tom
Murray. Hold on, Tom Murray was doing some dishes. What do you mean you're doing some dishes? I hope you're doing some dishes and listening to us at the same time.
Some people say that these unidentified flying objects always fly along the ley lines directions. They follow a line. Like there are invisible lines in the sky that also the ground. They have these ley lines across the ground, and they follow the ley lines when they fly. like literally flying from line to like they'll jump from line to line as they go into directions, the four directions, if that's true. This is the way the flow of the electrical current in the upper spheres or whatever. It's magnetic, so they follow the ley lines. So if that's a crash along the ley line, Aztec, yeah, I can see that. We're going to be seeing more of that. Those of you who've been seeing UFOs, I've been seeing the shit out.
Well, here we go. We got Sasquatch.
My guess is everyone's getting flooded out of the ground.
Well, let's hear about Bigfoot in this area. Some make Josh about encountering Bigfoot, the Yeti, or Sasquatch. But no matter what you call the beast, some Jemima Springs residents gossip about seeing the animal around the Vales Cardora National Preserve. According to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Association, there have been 24 such sightings in New Mexico. Were they Sasquatch, bears on two legs, really hairy hippies? You decide. Find out. I don't really, I don't think of New Mexico as Bigfoot kind of a country because it's more desert than like forest animals. But or what about skinwalkers?
The skinwalkers. Yeah, I've heard of skinwalkers, which is just a myth, but there's always smoke, there's fire. But I've never heard of those Sasquatches up in the desert.
What's with everybody doing dishes? Taurus, wait, I'm washing dishes too. God damn. Is that
I gotta watch dishes after this.
Do for our show? They turn us on and do dishes?
I have to wash dishes after the show. It's ironic. But yeah, that's that. I've no Bigfoots, man. I've not heard of it. I've heard of the dog man, the skinwalkers, maybe. They're supposed to be, according to the native traditions. But yeah, that's interesting.
That is interesting. I just don't hear a lot about it in New Mexico. So that's, hey, it doesn't mean it's not. It could be.
It could be. Very well could be. Everything's on the fucking table in Wacky World. Everything's on the fucking table. I'm telling you right now. I've seen weird as shit.
Well, let's see. Number 9. This is Teratorns. Aged prehistoric birds known as teratorms Teratorns winging their way around the Las Cruces. Witness reported seeing these monstrous birds as far back as the 1800s and have seen these raptors with 20-foot wingspan. Them as recently as a couple years ago, some cryptozoologists believe the creatures are prehistoric birds that have survived in modern times. Offer a scoff at the rumors. What do you think? Well, they have
the Thunderbirds. They also have the story of the Thunderbirds, which are like these eagle-looking, large, winged birds that pick up a cow and fly off with it. But yeah, they have a picture of these miners holding up what looks like a pterodactyl. And this old 1800s picture, which nobody could seem to find. It's just missing, but someone has the copy of the copy of the copy. But yeah, pterodactyls. If Connor was here, I would have to agree. We'd say, well, there's so many caves that run deep under the ground. They could be coming out of the caves.
True.
An underground oasis, an underground. That makes sense.
Who says the canyon, the Chaco Canyon Indians made it for these birds?
They talk about going underground. These natives go underground, and then they come out. They come out. That's the life. They're from underground, then they come out. And it's the fourth world. And they come out and they go, oh, we're in the fourth world. Oh, they were in the first world. And they went to the second world, came out. Then they went underground again and come out to the third world. And then went underground and come out to the fourth world. Keep stories of going underground is pretty fucking dominant with these native cultures. So, there's smoke, there's fire. Is there caves in this area that are entrances to the underground. Well, apparently in Dulce, there's supposed to be, the guy got his fucking hands burned off by these aliens living underground doing what God knows what. But interesting.
Oh, it is. It is. It is. It is.
It could be the entrance area.
Well,
That's
here's
where
number 10. Here's the
UFO
final
are
one.
gonna go.
Number 10 goes paranormal hauntings. With New Mexico's history dating back thousands of years, it's no wonder that tales of ghosts and specters abound. From Civil War battlefields to the New Mexico State Penitentiary, the Southwest Ghost Hunters Association has investigated paranormal activities around the state. Well, I mean, every state has its paranormal. So, I mean, that's
They have those ghost towns. They got a lot of ghost towns. And there was a lot of little combat skirmishes back and forth with the Spanish, but with Mexico. So the Mexican-American War. You have the Mexican-American War. So there's a whole lot of killing them up, shooting them up in small skirmishes all over New Mexico and areas. So yeah, there would definitely be some ghosts there. The old stories of the skeleton still sitting on the saddle as the horse rides through the desert. Like, oh, you hear about that one? Nah, I didn't hear about the skeleton on a horse in a Civil War uniform, or no, in a infantry uniform. No, I didn't hear about that. Yeah, the haunted fucking area, dude. I just don't know if I'd go there now because now it's underwater. I wouldn't. It's flooded over there. Don't go there.
I was just reading as well. I just got off the phone with H&R Block. Okay, H&R Block. H&R Block wants to buy some of my awesome shirts. That's awesome. I got borrow for retirement. Yeah. Let's see here. Now, Bob, how close is
what's that?
Wiltshire in the UK where you're at?
I don't know. I don't know English areas. I've been all over the place.
Well, here's UFO July 24th, Wiltshire's UK area.
Huh.
I was just curious because you were saying, I don't know if I remember you're saying that there's been some UFO sightings over there.
Been a lot of them. Yeah. There's the white ball. It's been balls. Been balls flying everywhere. There's a gold one I saw not once but twice fly overhead. A gold ball. Now this was the sky was. I was like, oh, it's got to be a star. Like debunk that because those fucking heavy ass clouds bringing down rain. So why the hell would it be a star there? But yeah, there's the white balls. Yeah. That's been all over UK. I saw them. That's the ones I'm talking about. The white balls. But I hate saying this, but I have to be careful because we don't know if they've got drones that has a propeller on the top. We can't see it because it's spinning. And whatever the drone is the shape of a ball with a camera on it.
This one here is in France. July 31st.
Well, they would call Foo Fighters the white ball. There's the white ball. They're everywhere. Everywhere. People reporting them everywhere. They're all over the place. And it's funny because the storms are everywhere. And here's these white balls everywhere. I swear it feels like there's like a camera on them damn things that are just watching. I can't tell you if they are real or not. I can't tell you if they're not just drones someone's playing around with. We don't know. The technology is so crazy now. It's always changing. I was looking at airplanes today, Eric, and I look at airplanes from the 1930s, and I can't even begin to tell you how ridiculous some of these planes are, and they fly. I saw saw a barrel. This guy made a barrel, put 2 small wings on a barrel, and the side of the barrel is like one little flippy engine. It creates a vacuum. And a son of a bitch was flying. I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe the technology they had back in the 20s and 30s and 40s, the old. It makes sense with the planes. Every time there's something people think is new, there's always a back history for it. So I'm looking at the engines now. I've been studying the engines, and then I'm looking at the back history, and there it is. So, yeah.
Apparently, this here is in my state, Washington.
Maybe those balls. There's some more. That looks like a damn plane. Huh.
Yeah, so far they're looking too perfect, like right next to each other.
Looks like a triangle plane. Or they're trying to form themselves to look like a triangle, like an object bigger than it is. Those triangle objects have been popping up a lot of places in the shape of a triangle. Yeah. See, it seems to be the balls. It's the... Oh, tell me if it's orange. There's been the golden and orange one. I saw those two. Is that the orange gold one? They've been popping up. Wow. Just keep your eyes out, people. Keep your eyes out, you know. My God.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
interesting.
And this one's China.
Yeah.
White ball.
There's the white ball. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one looks like it's flying normal, but it's going pretty fast.
Yeah, it's the straight line ones. They go in this perfect line. It's like a damn. It looks like something you see on a computer screen. It's just so perfect. It's a perfect line, almost like it's going across a cable. Perfect lines, and then the balls just kind of float free. The tacks look like they're going in a perfect line. So it's just, I've seen so many now. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Orbs, yeah.
You know what, Tor's on orbs talk. I'm not really huge on orbs. Orbs is too easy to be dust, to be a reflection off a camera. I'm not really that big on orbs.
Well, he's talking about not the ones for
in the sky.
The
ones, yeah.
Orb shaped, the round shaped ones. Again, I studied it from way back to the different shapes for each of the years. The discs, this, then there's the tube, and blah, 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 blah. And now we've got the balls and the tic-tac shapes. This is the time for them. This is like all of a sudden, this is the shape they've decided to show themselves in. A ball or a tic-tac shape. They're not discs. Nobody's reporting any discs. It's the ball. Again, are they interdimensional? Are they themselves the alien? But, or are they jinn? Are they as the Christians would call them, demons? I don't know. There's fucking 1,000 names for these things. Sometimes I think that they're just nothing but a fucking jinn, a living organism up there.
This one's in location Alton, Barners, United Kingdom.
UK. What year was this?
2019, June 20th, so a little bit less than about a year ago.
Okay, yeah. Boy, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all over the UK. That's them. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Look at those guys. Can it be debunked? Absolutely, it can be debunked, guys. Someone could be playing around with anything. It could be. Depends on what you feel, what your gut's telling you. Because I saw them. There was no play up there. I'm still debating if they're a drone or not. very well be a drone, but there they are.
What's interesting, it's like some disappear, then reappear. If it's a drone, what's making them disappear and reappear?
That's another thing. How is that happening? How do they disappear and reappear? Or they'll merge into one. I've seen two that'll merge into one. Like they bloop into the one. They don't make sense.
Santiago, Chile.
Is that the tube? That's the tube.
It's almost like it's saying a word. The camera can stay on it closer.
Is that the whoop gone? And then disappear. Now, I've not seen them with no lights on them. I have not seen things with windows on them. I've just seen the solid tubes.
And then,
so I've not seen windows.
Eric, I told you about my UFOs encounter with the ex-wife during F1 to SC at 4 o'clock a.m., where two lights did 360 degrees angles and zigzags at extremely high speeds.
Yeah, there's the balls. So far, those are the ones that everyone's seeing. Wow.
Yeah, what is he saying? Possible special displacement.
Yeah. 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 In and out dimensions. Popping through one, popping back into the other. Like strings on an instrument. If you believe in dimensional timelines or wherever your cup of tea is, moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out, coming in, showing up, coming down, boom, gone again. It's like I've never seen these on the other side.
Lights remind me of the movie Signs, when the lights were over Mexico City, yet Mexico always sees lights in the sky.
They do. But it's unusual. That's good you brought that up, because South America and Mexico have a lot of UFO sightings. And it's weird to me because also Puerto Rico and like Cuba, whatever they can get out of Cuba. And it's like, why are the Latin countries that have the Catholic, guys, throw this information away. This is just me making small observances just to put in a fucking doodle to doodle it. But it's weird that the Catholic places have a high percentage of the UFOs than South America Catholic. All through South America Catholic. Why Puerto Rico of all places Catholic? And then they get a lot of reporting, like Mexico City Catholic. Then they get a lot of the balls. And of course they get visions of Mary and God knows what else down there, all kinds of strange things. Is it balanced? Is it something to do with religion? Is it something to do with demons, the jinn? Is it something to do with, is it spiritual? Are these things spiritual? Or are they actual objects from another planet? Or are they interdimensional? Entrance and agree. So
Yeah.
you guys, I'm just telling you guys from my observances. It's like, it's just weird that the places. Yes, Bob. In Puerto Rico, off the coast, you can see USOs as well. A lot of them come out of Puerto Rico. A lot of them. And not only they come out of Puerto Rico, these fuckers got footage of them. Like footage. I'm probably more in those Latin areas than the other place. Now, New Mexico is Latin based because there was a lot of Catholics there. So there's the Catholicism thing there, right? New Mexico, United States, Puerto Rico, Catholicism. South America Catholicism, just me, probably wrong. Just throwing that in there at you guys. But at least one kind of like, yeah, think about it. Some people are trying to say, you know what? I'm going to check the dominant religion in this area where all the look, Catholicism. Huh. I don't know. But then you're going into a new area. Then you're going into the spiritual side. You're not going in the extraterrestrial side anymore. Then you're going. Then you got to go a whole new fucking rabbit hole.
The Indian race is very spiritual.
What's that?
The Indian race.
Yeah, oh yeah. They were.
They went missing. Maybe they were picked up. Maybe they got picked up.
They got picked up. That's weird. Like a whole group of people would just wake up in a new place.
It's like a Stargate. Like a Stargate just happened.
Yeah. Well, you know, just waiting for all the fun to fucking take place. It's every day is just a new day. Every day is I turn on the internet. I go, let's see what we got for weather and for tornadoes. Oh, a new fucking volcano erupted. Was it multiple earthquakes along the California down to Panama? Alaska had a 7.5 or something like that, or 8.5 or so. Oh my god, the Aleutian Islands along the rim, shit, crazy. And then you see all the UFOs, but you know, maybe it's a coincidence that along the Ring of Fire, they have a lot of Catholicism at the same time because the Spanish settled around that area. Just
maybe Mothman.
Maybe Mothman. Maybe that's next.
Maybe those birds type things they're seeing in New Mexico is actually Mothman. Maybe he flies there for the summer. Then he flies back to Virginia, wherever he comes from.
Yeah, maybe he migrates and then he goes back there to check on his moonshine and maybe his ginseng plants or whatever, the ground. It's probably a little side business. Goes down to South America for the coca leaves.
Oh, what's this? This might be interesting. I believe there's an underground base of the Puerto Rican trench.
Yeah, there's that trench thing again. Again with the trenches. Yeah. What's this one? Catholicism. Jesus who took over South America and the Caribbean with religion. Separate subject. No, yeah. You know, again, I just put it on a separate sheet of paper, put it to the side. It's just weird overlap at the moment for that. It could be religion-based. People could be calling them in. I don't know how many people talked about going outside and just saying, I'd like to see one. May I see one, please? And then all of a sudden it appears. I've heard of people swearing up and down. They go outside. I've done it with the chemtrail fucking airplanes. I went outside and I feel crazy sometimes. I'm like, okay, up here. I want to see one. And then I'll light up a cigarette and look up and that motherfucker will be right there. I was like, wow. Are you coming in on command? Am I asking to see you? Are you showing up when I ask? Is it the same thing with places? Is this a religious thing? Very well could be. Put it on a separate piece of paper. Keep it there.
Yeah.
Decide.
What has Texas Danny got to say here? If you're able to observe the anthropometrical change, study the changes to our hands, a possible indicator.
Could be. Yeah. Physiological changes. Keep an eye on the body swap changes. Keep an eye on everything. Keep an eye on your own tattoos. It'll be changed. Keep an eye on your scars. You might have a scar that's changed sides. Keep an eye on all your private shit, because the moment you start believing this is real and everything's not a comic book, then you just kind of assimilate and take downloads. If you keep on top of it, remind yourself all the time that you're in a video game or whatever. I'm just using it as a metaphor. So actually, not if you stub your toe, it's going to fucking hurt. Keep yourself up on top a little bit. Yeah. And you can keep looking at the changes in history and keep the topography changes and kind of stay above water a little bit without going too crazy. Some of you guys are insane.
According to Torres, one of the biggest satellites is in Iberville, Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Also, you guys had Puerto Rico has had that dish, that biggest communication disc for SETI.
Maybe they've been speaking to them.
Could be. Maybe they got it working again. I think it was the last time I heard. I remember it was taken down. It was all fucking old, and nasty. But it was in Puerto Rico.
Maybe Torres works with them.
Maybe he works with SETI. We don't know it.
And maybe he's really here to make sure we don't spread any kind of truth about these alien sightings from over there.
True.
And then we're going to be getting about an hour. We're going to be getting that knock on that door and never be seen again.
Yes, that's probably how it's going to happen. There's going to be a large group of people, not large, a small group of people who are just going to disappear one day, just like in Chaco Canyon, Eric.
Yeah.
And everyone, where'd they go? They just disappeared, and then they're going to reappear in a cool ass place because their frequency is going to change. Their vibration is going to change. You will never see them again. They're going to be gone, but they're going to be in a different place.
See, by him acting like he's admitting to it, he really is admitting to it.
Yeah.
He's trying to play games. You know, I think he invented the alien hand syndrome.
He's obviously Puerto Rican. So I have not ever in my life met a Puerto Rican who did not believe in UFOs and who have not seen one. That's why I always talk about Puerto Ricans. You want to find the best UFO people? Go see a Puerto Rican. They've all seen a UFO. It's mandatory.
Well,
buy the package.
Well, guys, beyond that, I hope you guys, if you never heard of the Chaco Canyon, hopefully you learned something about the Chaco Canyon. And it is kind of a cool mystery because these people just disappeared. And to this day, nobody knows why. There's no bones. They can't find any bones. No, nothing. It's like there's no evidence of. They know they were there because they built it.
Yeah.
But they don't. But there's not even one bone or nothing.
No oral tradition carried outside the canyon. Yeah. Yeah,
and I think hopefully Discovery Channel sends us to investigate this.
Yes. I highly doubt it. Yes.
I'll have my shirt on representing the show.
I would send me
on that. So, guys, beyond that, I think we're gonna end the show. But be back Wednesday, normal on Wednesday. I'll be doing some kind of a horror movie, not horror movies tomorrow night. I'm gonna be doing UFO horror movies, movies that came from UFOs type movies and all that. So that'll be tomorrow night, and then be back Wednesday. I'm working on a topic. Don't want to tell you guys now. You guys gotta wait till tomorrow to be surprised with the link. And then we'll have a topic where something else we could learn that maybe some of you never heard of, or some of you have heard of. Or maybe some of you in the chat know something very cool that we should be talking about. You can email me, send the description, say, Eric, you ever heard of this? We'll talk about anything.
Yeah, I like it when people give us suggestions because it's kind of cool.
Because then they're interested in it too because it's coming from them. So beyond that, guys, we're going to end this show, and hopefully you guys had a good time. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. See you all later.